Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel of Being ACCA. This is Tushita Gupta, ACCA affiliate, and in this video we are solving the quiz from the Study Hub. This is the quiz for chapter number 17. So let's get started. Alright, so the first question goes, the currency of Hungary is the peso and the currency of Hungary is the dollar. The current spot exchange rate is 1.5134 pesos for $1. So basically, if I want to buy $1, I will have to give 1.5134 pesos to get $1. Now, using the exchange rate differentials, 1 year forward exchange rate is given to be 1.5346 pesos per $1. So that means after 1 year, if I want to, like, this is the forward exchange rate which has been predicted, that after 1 year, the rate is going to look something like this, that if you want to buy $1, you're going to have to give 1.5346. Earlier, you were giving lesser. Now you'll have to give more money to buy that same $1. So the currency market between the peso and the dollar is assumed to be perfect, and the international Fisher effect holds. Now we have to select which statement over here is true. So the first thing which we talk about in the international Fisher effect is basically, if you see the formula, you're talking about the nominal rate of inflation, the nominal rate of interest, the real rate of interest, as well as the inflation. So we have also studied that, the currency will depreciate if the inflation is higher compared to the other country. So over here, our currency has depreciated. Why? Because earlier to get $1, I had to give 1.51. Now I have to give 1.53. So because I have to give more money to buy that same $1, that means my currency has actually depreciated. So if that has happened, that means the inflation in my country is more than the inflation that is there in the opposite country. So let us read the statements. Hungary has a higher forecast rate of inflation than Hungary. So if you talk about Hungary has actually appreciated. So it cannot have a higher rate of inflation. That is why option A gets eliminated. Then option B says Hungary has a higher nominal rate of interest than Hungary. So this is something which can hold true because it is this currency which has depreciated. When you talk about the nominal interest rate and the real interest rate, nominal accounts for inflation, whereas real is without inflation. So this is one possibility that, because with inflation, you're going to have a higher rate. So that is why nominal could be the answer. Now let us go to other statements as well. Hungary has a higher real rate of interest rather than Hungary. So whenever inflation is higher, my real rate is going to be lesser. That is why option C cannot be the answer. Then option D says the forecast future spot exchange rate will differ from the forward exchange rate, but that is not true. In reality, what happens is until, so we have predicted this right now. And after 1 year, the exchange rate is going to look like this itself. So there's not going to be any difference between the future spot rate and the forward exchange rate. So we go with option B as our answer. All right, so the second question says, a company which limits its overseas operations to exports to foreign countries is exposed to which of the following exchange rate risks? So we have studied that economic risk is always going to be there, no matter if a company is not even dealing with foreign people, still it is going to experience economic risk. So any option which does not have economic risk, option D gets eliminated, right? So now let's talk about which other risk will be there. Now this company is limiting its overseas operations to exports to foreign countries. That means if I am this company, I am putting a limit to how much I am sending out in the market. So basically, if I'm sending out something in the external market, basically I am reducing on my the translation risk, because maybe whatever happens in at the time of converting in the balance sheets, how I'm going to do the conversion, basically your translation risk also gets reduced through this. So now your company is only going to face economic as well as transaction risk. Moving ahead, which of the following statements about interest rate risk hedging is correct? All right, so let us go with the statements. An interest rate floor can be used to hedge an expected increase in the interest rates. That's not true. That is to hedge an expected decrease in the interest rate, because the floor sets a lower limit, that it cannot go beyond that. It cannot go lower than that. So that is why this is not correct. The cost of an interest rate floor is higher than the cost of collar. This is absolutely correct. When you talk about the floor and the cap, basically all of these are going to be more expensive because collar is somewhere in the middle and you get compensated because you're buying and selling at the same time. So the premium that you pay for buying gets a little bit compensated for what premium you have sold in the market. So the cost is slightly lesser when it comes to a collar. Then let's see why C and D cannot be your answer. Premium on an interest rate option is payable when it is exercised. This is absolutely wrong. Whenever you're buying the option is when you pay the premium. It is a non-refundable payment. Then the standardized nature of interest rate futures means that over and under hedging can be avoided. This statement is also incorrect. So this cannot be your answer. Option B is what we have as the answer. All right. Solvay International is a US-based company which is due to receive £10,000 in 60 days from a UK customer. The current exchange rate is $1.3 per pound. Solvay has purchased a put option to sell these many pounds in 60 days for 1.25 per pound one, and has paid a premium of this much per pound. So if 60 days from now the spot exchange rate is given to you, what will be the net benefit for Solvay company compared to not hedging? So basically over here you have to compare two scenarios. Scenario one is where the company is hedging and scenario two is where the company is not hedging. So first let's calculate about when we are actually hedging. So when we are hedging, we are paying a premium because I have bought a put option, I have paid a premium and the premium is 0.005 and this is per pound. How many pounds am I hedging over here? 10,000. So I multiply this by 10,000 pounds. So this over here is my cost, hence I will show it as a negative figure. Now, once I have hedged this position, I have purchased the option to sell this currency at this specific rate. So now when I actually receive the money, my receipt is going to be 10,000 pounds multiplied by the exchange rate, which is 1.25. So this is the amount of dollars that I'm going to be getting. So if I just net this up on hedging, my net receipt is going to be the sum of both of the things. So I'm getting $12,450 over here. Now let us assume when in a situation where we are not hedging. So if we are not hedging, whenever I will receive these 10,000 pounds, I'm going to convert them in the spot market. So when I convert them in the spot market, how much is my receipt going to be? I have 10,000 pounds that I will receive and I will convert it in the spot market at 1.2. So I will get $12,000. So if I am hedging, my receipt is 12,450. If I do not hedge, if I do not do anything, then I get 12,000. So basically, if I do not hedge, I'm missing out on a benefit of the difference, which is 450. So 450 is your answer over here. Let us move to the very last question for this. In relation to interest rate futures, which of the following statements is correct? Basis risk arises when the basis in futures contract amortizes at a linear rate. This is not the risk. The risk is basically that it will not amortize at a linear rate. Now moving to the part B. If interest rate rises, the price of the interest rate future will fall. That is exactly true. Let's suppose the interest rate today is 5. So basically, how do we quote the futures price is that we take 100 minus the interest rate. So then if 5 is my interest rate, then I have my price of the future as 95. But let's suppose if the interest rate has risen. So interest rate has risen, maybe it has become 8. So now my futures are going to be priced at 100 minus 8. So that means my price of the future has actually fallen. It was earlier when the interest rate was 5, I had a futures price of 95. And when it was 8, I had a futures price of 92. So you can see how statement B has been proven correct. Now let us see why C and D are incorrect. Interest rate futures are priced at 100 plus the implied rate, which is incorrect. Like I told you, it is 100 minus your implied interest rate. So option C gets eliminated. Option D says when hedging against falling interest rates, futures are sold first and bought later. This is actually the inverse. When you're hedging against falling interest rates, you're going to buy futures first and then sell them later. So this is how this option B becomes your answer. Let us submit. And with this, we are done with our chapter 17 quiz. I hope that this video was useful, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.